Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Self-Made. I'm Colt Joseph, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Quant Network and, more importantly, ISO TC307, which is different than ISO 222, obviously, and you need to know what the differences are and why TC307 is so important, okay? It has to do with cryptocurrencies. As we know, ISO 222, which I'm sure you've heard of if you follow crypto or you've seen my channel before, I talk about it quite often. It showed that there's going to be 7 different cryptocurrencies that are compliant, which is a big deal, but TC307 is much, much more of a big deal when it comes to cryptocurrencies. Now, the CEO of Quant Network, or the QNT token, he actually is one of the guys that worked on creating ISO TC307. ISO actually went out and approached Gilbert Verdian about creating ISO TC307. If you don't know, Gilbert Verdian is the Quant Network CEO. Now, if you are completely unaware of what I'm talking about right now, let me give you a quick little overview of what ISO 222 is and TC307. Swift. What is ISO 222? ISO 222 is an open global standard for financial information. It provides consistent, rich, and structured data that can be used for every kind of financial business transaction. Essentially, ISO 222 is a language that banks can use back and forth to communicate with each other and do transactions, cross-border payments, everything, okay? Here we have ISO TC307, Executive Summary. Blockchain technology holds immense promise to revolutionize not only the financial domain, but a whole host of things from societal inclusion to efficiencies in government, health, and all areas of business. ISO TC307, blockchain and distributed ledger technologies, has been set up to meet the growing need for standardization in this area by providing internationally agreed ways of working with it to improve security, privacy, and facilitate worldwide use of the technology through better interoperability. This is especially relevant due to the number of SMEs across various sectors that are developing blockchain and distributed ledger technologies as a product. The fact that people in crypto try to undermine and downplay ISO TC307 is crazy. This is literally an ISO standard for blockchain and DLT adopted by 60 plus nations. It doesn't get any more pure than that. QNT, Technical Committee ISO TC307, Blockchain and Distributed Ledger Technologies. So again, ISO approached the QNT or Quant Network's CEO about creating the TC307. So we're gonna watch this video really quick and it's gonna talk about it a little bit.
So I started talking about an interconnectivity of blockchain to achieve interoperability. And that's when the ISO people at Standards Australia approached me and said, can we turn this idea into a standard? And ended up establishing the blockchain ISO standard TC307 in 2015, and we had it approved, and that's when we kicked off. So if you remember, before blockchain, we kind of had the same problem in technology in other generations. We did the same with databases, we did the same with different types of mainframes and microcomputers, and we did the same with the internet very early on with online service providers. So we had closed ecosystems that couldn't communicate. And Craig just mentioned, now you can email everyone, the standards around email. Whereas before, if you wanted to email, you were only allowed into your own community. You couldn't go outside of your ecosystem until, TCP/IP and SMTP and other protocols that were standards allowed us to have the internet of today. So my question to blockchain was, why are we making the same mistakes as the past? So in 2015, there was lots of need to create some sort of a standard for blockchain. And that's where ISO came in. So this was the actual proposal back in 2015 that was put together. And it was around, creating a governance framework, creating an interoperability capability, and allowing a regulatory compliance around blockchain. So the technical side can be easily done because the regulations and the governance is already accepted at the top layer. So that was what was proposed back in 2015. The areas that we needed to look at, what I wrote was around terminology, interoperability, privacy, security, authentication, etc. And this is the first meeting that we had back in Sydney in 2017. This was the first inaugural plenary. I think we had 120 delegates from all around the world, and it was quite a good and successful launch to what we're doing. So if you look at standards, they're a great way to collaborate and bring harmonization. At the level, there's national, there's regional type of standards. So at the ISO, IEC level, there's country level standards. And then underneath, you've got different types of technical, professional type of standards that all feed into each other. So looking at this, what we're doing in TC307 is we're building these types of standards already. So the work kicked off in 2017. it's been a very active committee. It's a TC307. We have hundreds and hundreds of members from all around the world working on all of these different types of standards and different working groups. And so already some are published. And as Craig was mentioning, there's going to be another one around IP. So there'll be an IP standard around blockchain, but all the work and the effort since 2017 has already kicked off. And if you look at the makeup and the different committees, this is what is happening today. So we have some internal committees, but we also have the working groups that are looking at the foundational side of blockchain, terminology of reference architecture, etc., security, privacy, smart contracts, governance, interoperability, use cases, etc. So all of these are underway, and so ISO isn't the only body working on this. It's quite collaborative, but what we're doing is bringing in experts from all the other international standardization organizations, from ITUT, IEEE, IETF, working with each other as peers, and then once a year through the EU INATBA body, we're doing kind of like a check-in just to work out what is happening within the different standardization organizations and how we can collaborate and not reinvent things and make the best use of the expertise and the resources. So it's quite a collaborative way of developing standards globally that's currently happening.
As you can see from this, blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies in general are not going anywhere, okay? It is the future. There are ISO standards being developed around blockchain technology and distributed ledger. So if that doesn't tell you that cryptocurrencies are some of the best investments you could make, as long as you're picking the right ones, preferably ISO compliant ones, right? Any of the 7 ISO 222 compliant ones, which again is Stellar, XLM, Hedera, HBAR, IOTA, XTC, Ripple with XRP, Algorand, Algo, and the Quant Network or QNT token. Those are the 7 compliant cryptocurrencies. So any one of these 7 would be a perfect investment. Those cryptos are, in my opinion, some of the safest cryptos there are to invest in. Now, again, I'm not a financial advisor, so please do not take anything I'm saying as investment advice. Please go do your own research, okay? Do your own due diligence. Learn about what you're investing in before you invest in it, because cryptocurrency is a very, very volatile place to invest your money. And it is a place where you can definitely lose your money very fast if you invest in the wrong cryptos or you're not aware of bull and bear market cycles. You can get yourself wrecked really fast if you buy at the wrong time. If you buy at the top of a bull market and then sell at the bottom of a bear market, you're gonna lose all your money. But if you buy like right now when we're like down very, very low in a bear market, or potentially at the bottom of this bear market, who knows? We might have a little bit farther to go down, we don't know. But you hold for a year or 2 years or however long it takes till we're up near the top of the bull market, then you're going to make large amounts of profit, potentially generational wealth, definitely life-changing wealth if you invest a decent amount of money. Again, you don't have to invest $100,000, okay? You can literally start putting in every paycheck or something, put in $20 or $100, or it will build up over time, I promise. Well, the fact that we are going into the 4th industrial revolution, it is a fact, okay? The digital age is upon us. Cryptocurrencies are taking over. Everything's being tokenized, okay? You might as well take this opportunity to get rich, to become financially free, just off investing a little money in a new emerging technology that is blockchain. In my opinion, Quant Network is one of the best tokens you could invest in. Quant is the center of everything. It is the interoperability layer between everything moving forward. So you can't go wrong there, okay? XRP, bank-to-bank transfer network, it's gonna be moving a lot of the money along with XLM. These projects are among my favorites of the 7. But I hold every single one of them, and I think they're all great investments. QNT, tokenized vaults full of gold, stablecoin backed by physical gold, IETF, secure asset transfer, ISO TC307.
The examples we had was a company that was looking to tokenize vaults full of gold into effectively stablecoins backed by physical gold. So they could do that, but they had a couple of 100,000 users. They were looking for millions of users, so they need to connect to a larger exchange to be able to do that. And that's the sort of protocol that's where we need a standard, because there are high tens to low hundreds of these things coming up, all proprietary. There are dozens of bridging solutions that work for 1 or 2 of those things. And actually, this is a space where a global standard, which is really agnostic to what's going on behind the interconnection of the networks, is going to be really important, because their business models are quite different. The nature of the assets that are on there and how they've implemented them is quite different. What is common to them is they need to move them agnostically from one network to another. So this is why we think IETF is the right venue to be able to do this, because this is effectively, these are a whole bunch of autonomous systems that need to talk to each other without a lot of knowledge of what's going on behind them, and transfer data in standard ways, safely using using two-phase commit type protocols in order to be able to open up these markets. And there's tons and tons of value in that, both in the CBDC world and in the capital markets world. And that's the areas where we're looking at.
Here we have QNT World Intellectual Property Organization, ISO TC 307. Let's watch this video.
Gilbert, you mentioned that the ISO is working on the different types of standard covering, I think, most of the items that the blockchain task force, including considered, including interoperability, the legal framework, and also the governance. When do you think ISO can release the standard?
Thank you, Woody. That's a very good question. I mean, standards take quite a long time. I mean, in my field, in cybersecurity, ISO 27000 series took 10 to 20 years to be released and to get to today. I think what's evident is the ISO standard is quite active in blockchain. There's already standards published. So the terminology one is the first one that's been published. And there's a whole row and sequence of different types of standards already in development and at different stages. And they will be published over the next year to 5 years as they evolve. So I think the journey's there, but the output has already started. So the good news is there's lots of collaboration with lots of experts all around the world, and they're feeding into developing the standards as quickly as possible. So it's already being done.
Gilbert, is there any specific organization which is dealing with the specific business like a WIPO? Is there any organization participate in the discussion of the ISO standardization?
There's many different types. So there's a lot of liaison relationships with ISO, with organizations, standards bodies, companies, different expertise in different fields. So it is very open, and I think there already is a WIPO liaison or collaboration, or there's experts that are working at WIPO or related to WIPO that are working in the different work groups and the study groups within ISO. So it is very open and collaborative to bring in the expertise that's needed. And if there isn't, there's a very mature process to easily create a liaison relationship with different organizations to bring that expertise.
So there you go, ISO TC 307. Let me know what you guys think of it down in the comments. Read up on it, do some research, just be aware of what is coming in the near future. As far as QNT, we are down right now, but we're getting close to a breakout. Whether up or down, we're not sure yet, but check this out. So this is the graph for the quant token on TradingView, QNT. If we look at the yellow trend lines right here, QNT is getting closer and closer to the smallest part of this triangle. Now, it usually has a breakout anywhere after 75%. We are definitely more than 75% of the way through this. So we're getting close. So the farther it makes it through this without having a breakout to the upside or the downside, the more volatile the breakout is actually going to be in most cases. Either we'll have a breakout to the upside and we'll shoot up in price a decent amount, or a drop to the downside and we're going to go see the sub $100 range again. As far as looking at the chart, that is what I'm seeing. Let me know what you guys personally think down in the comments. I'd love to read your comments. Yeah, I'm going to wrap up the video here. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe to my channel to not miss any of my future uploads. I will see you guys in the next one. I'm Colt Joseph. Peace.